Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So believe me when I say that the good people of California, those who actually believe in the Constitution and taking their defense into their own hands, they just cannot catch a break. It seems like every time we get a small victory and we move ahead a couple inches with our rights, we get pushed back another 10 feet. And so today we're going to be talking about the largest county in the entire state, which is home to more than 10 million people. And I want to talk to you about what they're doing to people and CCWs now. Basically, well, eliminating them. And they'll let you know if they decide that they're going to start them back up again. Hey, real quick before we get started, if you guys haven't done so already, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free, it only takes a second, but it really helps us spread our message, and it's a big support to the channel as well. So I appreciate everybody who is subscribed, and everybody that's going to subscribe in the future. A thumbs up is always appreciated, and if you want to know when new videos come out, make sure you hit that alarm bell and stay up on your constitutional rights. So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So I think that most of us post-Bruin thought that these states like New York and California, who had good cause and just cause requirements that were preventing people from getting their CCW permits, would essentially open up and we'd see a flood of new applicants and new people carrying, and basically that right and that freedom would be restored in those states. Since then, we've seen Bruin response bill after Bruin response bill that's actually made it more difficult in those states, not only to get the permit itself, but to actually use it once you get it. And there's lawsuits challenging just about everything. Well, the county that we're talking about today is LA County. LA County's always been one of the absolute worst. I lived in California for 42 years, and that's where I lived. I lived in Los Angeles County. And in that county, they really enforced that good cause, just cause requirement. If you couldn't show absolute need at that moment and have physical proof that you needed it right now, then forget about it. You weren't going to get a permit. It was only for judges, retired law enforcement, and stuff like that. If you were just an average citizen, forget it. You weren't going to get one. So again, I thought Bruin would open things up, and it did, sort of. Except in LA County, since the Bruin happened and everything else, guess what? It is taking people multiple years just to go through the application process and actually get their permits. We're talking 2+ years and over $1,000 just to get your permit. So the CRPA, the California Rifle and Pistol Association, actually filed a lawsuit which names Rob Bonta, the Attorney General of the state of California, and the Los Angeles County Sheriff, saying that, hey, these excessive wait times are essentially unconstitutional and they need to be stopped. So we think, okay, this lawsuit, which is moving forward, it's been going since December of 2023, would, maybe provide some results. Well, quite the opposite. As a matter of fact, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has now stopped accepting applications and handing out the CCWs. If you are expecting to go pick up your CCW, you no longer can. And when are they going to start issuing them again or accepting applications even? Well, we don't know. We have no idea. As of right now, it's completely up in the air. So as far as it goes right now and for the foreseeable future, nobody in Los Angeles County can get a permit. You cannot apply for a permit in that county. As a matter of fact, Costas Morris on Twitter wrote this. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up his account and what he's saying about this current situation is because he is an attorney for the CRPA and has intimate knowledge of not just this case, but what's going on. But even he's kind of left guessing as to how long this stoppage will last. So it says here, as we've gotten a couple member complaints about this, I wanted to mention that CRPA is aware that the LASD is not currently issuing CCW permits and has canceled several scheduled pickup appointments. Considering people have waited up to 2 years to get through the process, it is deeply frustrating. Our best guess, again, this is just a guess, is that this is because LASD is going to be adopting the standardization CCW permits that California DOJ finally approved as per SB2. DOJ was already supposed to make 1 year ago, but never did. So until now, every department has done its own thing, with some handing out nice cards while others just laminate a piece of paper. Their attorneys say that they expect this to be a delay of a few weeks. if the wheels aren't turning again by that time, we'll revisit the issue. So obviously that means that they're going to possibly take up some other action if this isn't finished in a few weeks, because just like you know, in the state of California, saying a few weeks could potentially mean a few months. You just can't take what they say at face value. Now, I guess the first question is it legal for the LASD to do this? And in my personal opinion, absolutely not. You can't just simply pause somebody's rights because, well, you know, you have some new paperwork or some new process that you have to get through and you need time to do it. There is no excuse to pause anybody's rights for any reason whatsoever. You cannot simply put a hold on the Constitution. We have had a right to defend ourselves outside of the home with arms since before the Constitution ever existed. The Constitution simply ratified that right and said the government wasn't allowed to infringe on it. And then we again had the Supreme Court, which reaffirmed that and saying, look, you do, as an individual, you have a right to use arms to defend yourself outside the home. So again, we have pre-Constitution, we have the Constitution, and then we have in more modern times the recent Bruin decision at the Supreme Court, which again, all affirm that this is a right. And so a right cannot be denied like this by simply delaying it, because a right delayed is a right denied. I'm sure you guys have all heard that before. But that's exactly what they're doing to anybody who would like to apply for a permit in LA County as it stands right now. So nobody's able to get anything. And if your appointment was canceled after waiting, let's say 2 years to get that, you know, to pick up that card, right? And then all of a sudden they decide to go to a new system. Are you going to have to go through that process all over again? Possibly. There's been some reports in Alameda County that people have had to redo that entire process and go through those wait times. Now, the CRPA has obviously filed a lawsuit against those wait times, saying that those are infringements as well. But right now, saying that we're just going to put things on pause and not accept any permits anymore, that is not acceptable. And that right there is a huge problem. Now, one thing I'm curious about is once they actually do come back, you know, let's say the pause is over, right? And they start accepting applications again, or, you know, going through that process, is it still going to be another 2 years wait for those people that want to apply? I mean, as it stands right now, if you ask me, it's unconstitutional to have a permit at all. Any permit in any state, to me, seems unconstitutional. You shouldn't need a permit to practice a right. If the government can simply deny you a right or deny your right by not issuing you a permit, it's not a right anymore, it's a privilege. So for me, the entire permitting process itself is unconstitutional. Nevertheless, once they get back, is it still going to be a 2-year wait? Is it going to be longer? Are people going to have to go through the whole process over again? That is going to be a big deal for a lot of people. So I'm curious to see what happens here, because again, what happens in California, regardless if it's on the county level or not, you could very easily see that happen in other states with large counties. I mean, take a look at Cook County in Illinois, right? In New York, there's massive population centers where they could say, hey, we're putting a pause on this to restructure things. You know, why not? That's what happens when California breathes. For some reason, all these other blue states listen. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I think just being aware of these things is extremely important. If you're somebody who is considering applying this week, next week, then the week following that, you may want to talk to somebody about that first and see whether or not the application process is even available to you. So sometimes knowledge and information is the best tool that you can have. So I wanted to share that with you, and I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you make your voice heard. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.